Good morning, everyone. In our fourth session of history, in the previous sessions, from first to third, we covered one chapter Indus Valley Civilization, that was also called Harappan Civilization. Okay, many things we came to know, and now we will further go with the related to that chapter, that how people they developed themselves. Okay, what new things they brought in this period, means which period? This second chapter, whatever we will study, okay, we will study about that period, what changes were brought. Okay, so see this second chapter, that is Vedic period. Vedic period, carefully listen. Vedic period, and just think, Vedic period which is focusing more on Vedas. The word itself says Vedic period, means that period in which Vedas were composed. Vedas, how many Vedas are there? 4 Vedas are: Rig Vedas, Atharva Veda, Samaveda, and Ajurva Veda. Total 4 Vedas are there. Clear? So this chapter, Vedic period, it tells about the timing, about the period, about the happenings of this period, how community changed, how we changed, our ancestors changed completely our society. First of all, we were living a nomadic life, then we converted into agricultural land, and we further grew crops and all, and then we started settling life. We started one civilization. Through that civilization, after that civilization, we got many ideas, many skill, okay, that further strengthened our society, and further it developed our skills. And through this development, one new type of community that was completely changed from our past, that was completely changed from our civilization, okay, that grew. So first chapter was that Harappan civilization, which can also be called Indus Valley civilization. In the first chapter, we studied about our ancestors, about our culture, ancient culture, about the invention of agriculture and all. Clear? In this chapter, we will cover how community changed, how lifestyles changed, how political system introduced, and many more about Vedas. Clear, no? So, let us discuss something about, as in a previous chapter, I told you that chapter was based on only excavations, witnesses, evidences, what we got. But this chapter would not be based on that. Means you are knowing, in history 2 types of evidences are: one that can be found in archaeological sites, and second one that is written. Clear, no? That is written. So somewhere in this chapter we have a written records. How written records? Somewhere. How? Because in Vedas, in the hymns or any line, it is mentioned what about our culture, about our society, what was the system of society, what system prevalent in the society. Okay, whatever was there, that is included in the Vedas. Clear, no? So further we will see about literature. There are many sources. Means we cannot imagine only, we cannot say like this thing existed, this thing was in a practice. We should have one evidence. Okay, so in this chapter many evidences, we will go one by one. Okay, first Vedas, they will come in literary sources. Clear, no? Vedas will come in literary sources. Then in the literary sources, epics also. Epics, you have listened the name epic, Ramayana, Mahabharata. Okay, I think everybody is aware of this. Okay, along with this, means they will be giving us knowledge in a written form. Why? Because these are written evidences. Along with this, some evidences which we have got from excavation site, that also we will see. Who are they? They would be iron tools. Okay, you are knowing in the past our ancestors, they were not having idea of iron, idea of use of iron, what can be converted, iron in what way they wanted they could change. They were not having this kind of skill. Today we are having. From means that safety pin, you are knowing, the tiniest safety pin, from that to towering building, there is use of iron. Okay, are you getting what I want to say? From safetiest means safety pin, okay, tiny, which is very tiny, to towering building, okay, there is use of iron. So now today we are using iron in this vast way, and think it is surprised that we were not knowing about iron, and we got this information, got this knowledge that yes, there is iron that could be used in many ways, like iron tools. Okay, today we can see vehicles, they are made of what? Iron only. Clear? So everything, I think if I say that without iron, our life would be affected. So that could not be happen. Clear, no? So this iron artifacts we will study. Means how people, they developed their skill. They used iron in, they changed iron in different tools, etc. Clear, no? Iron implements. Further they developed it. Iron was further developed and they introduced many more things. Pottery also we will see. Pottery, what pots, drinking vessels and fooding vessels that we have got from excavation sites. Okay, that also we will see in this chapter. Okay. One more thing I would like to tell you. In the previous session, we covered all whatever was given in syllabus. Remember, we have to see syllabus. Okay, on the first page of the chapter, each chapter you will be getting syllabus. That syllabus we have to cover. Okay, nothing should be left. So that we have covered. Many things are given in this chapter, they are not in a syllabus. So first of all, I would show you in slide, and you can see in your book also whatever syllabus are given, that we will go through. Clear, no? So like early settlements given, Aryans, they came India, they settled. Okay, class division like Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, Shudras are given. Okay, 4 ashramas, Grihastha ashrama, Vanprastha ashrama, Sannyasa ashrama. Okay, and many ashramas are given. So that is not coming to our syllabus. Okay, we may skip that. Food, dresses, amusements, they are also not coming. Okay, like God about Brahmanas, Brahma, creator, Vishnu, okay, protector, and Lord Shiva, destroyer, that also is not in our syllabus. We will not see. What is the most important thing, topic of this chapter is comparison of what? A study. Which study? Comparative study of early Vedic and later Vedic period. Now you will see Vedic period is also divided into 2 periods. Yes, Vedic period is also divided into 2 periods. The first one is later Vedic, early Vedic, and second one is later Vedic. Early Vedic and later Vedic. Okay, early Vedic period is that period when Aryans came, they settled India. Okay, estimated time is 1500 BCE to 1000 BCE. Just see the timing. In early Vedic period is divided into 2 periods. First, early Vedic period. Second, later Vedic period. Early Vedic period from 1500 BCE to 1000 BCE. BCE, I think everybody is knowing, before Common Era, Christian era also can be called. Okay, and later Vedic is the period from 1000 BC to 500 BC. Clear, no? Why we have divided? Why our historians they have divided the period? If this is Vedic period, is a name is only Vedic period. So in this period, we will study about Vedas, about culture, what culture Vedas are giving, means information about our culture, our society, practices, what they are giving. This is Vedas period only. So why we have divided? There is a reason behind it. Why this period is divided? The reason is there means in early Vedic period and in a later Vedic period, there was, means you can say, means various things they were not existed in the early Vedic period and they came to introduce in later Vedic period. Means remarkable changes were noticed. If we will see this chapter, okay, slide also I will show you, so through which you will be more clear. Means not only one aspect of life but many more things were changed. Okay, so that is why from which period to which period changes took place. Okay, changes took place means more advanced changes took place, that is later Vedic. Okay, and what was original Vedic period, okay, that is early Vedic period. Now I think this thing is clear about Vedic period. Two periods in a Vedic period. First one early Vedic, second one later Vedic period. Okay, let's see this slide and this will be more clear to you. So dear students, let us discuss about more of this chapter. Okay, the Vedic period. Some slides I will show you, and with the help of this slide we will be understanding. Okay, and let us see first the Vedic period, chapter 2. Okay, the Vedic period. First of all, you should know the syllabus. Okay, because this is a very important thing. Without knowing the syllabus, we cannot go further. We cannot see the topics. Okay, we cannot understand also. So first of all, let's see syllabus. In your screen, it is first sources. Sources. Vedas. What are the sources? Vedas, epics. Okay, Vedas. As just now I explained about Vedas, there are 4 Vedas, and these Vedas are giving us various information about the society, about culture, about economy, and everything. Clear? So, along with Vedas, okay, one more literary source is there, epics. What are they? Epics are, there are 2 epics mainly that we will discuss in this chapter. The first one is Ramayana, second one is Mahabharata. I think this is very clear to everyone. Okay. Iron artifacts and pottery. Just now I told you iron artifacts. What is iron artifact? Iron artifact is the tools, okay, the things made of iron in our past. Means when they came to know, when our ancestors, means people of this civilization, they came to know about the use of iron, what changes they did, what usability of iron was in this period, that we will see. Okay, next one is pottery. Yeah, pottery means some information. In the previous chapter also I have shown you slides. In that slide it was there that people, they used pottery. Not only pottery they used, but various designs also they did on pottery. So this gives information that people, they were very skilled. They were highly skilled. Clear, no? Next one is given brief comparative study of early and later Vedic society and economy. Clear, no? Brief comparative study of early and later Vedic society and economy. Just now I told you early Vedic and later Vedic. There were 2 periods. Clear, no? There were 2 periods. One was early Vedic and one was later Vedic. So early Vedic and later Vedic, why it was divided the Vedic period? Because there were numerous changes, okay, in our society in this period only, in Vedic period is. And economy is what? Economy and society. That we will see what economic, what occupations, what commercial activities people started and how society changed, okay, due to that we will see in our chapter. Okay. literary sources. There on your screen you are able to see sources means which are evidences which are giving us information. First one is literary source. Literary source early Vedic age, and second one is later Vedic age. Okay, that chronological groups are divided. First one early Vedic, that just now I told you 1500 BC to 1000 BC, and in early Vedic age, just remember this is very important to know. In early Vedic age, only one Veda was composed. Only one Veda was composed. That is Rig Veda. That is why Rig Veda is called the oldest Vedas. Clear, no? Oldest Veda of India, of ancient. Clear, no? Okay, next. Later Vedic text. In a later Vedic text, Brahmanas are not of persons, people. Brahmanas, it is text also. Aranya means forest. In Hindi, it is given. You people are knowing, I think. Aranyakas means whatever happened in Aranya. Aranya means jungle, means forest. Upanishads, they are also part of the Vedas. Okay, so on your screen you are able to see early Vedic text, early Vedic composition, that is Rig Veda. Later Vedic, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads. So question arises here, only one Veda is there in early Vedic. So where three Vedas were composed. So all the three Vedas, okay, they were composed in later Vedic period. Clear? That period is 1000 BC to 5000 BC. Clear, no? I think there is no doubt now. Shall we go further? Okay, next, see. First of all, let us understand the meaning of the word Veda. The term Veda has been derived from the Sanskrit word Vid, which means knowledge. Thing is clear now? Knowledge means Veda means knowledge. So if you study Veda, okay, you will be getting knowledge. It means everything whatever is given in Veda, whatever is composed in Veda gives us knowledge, information. Clear now? Okay. Next. So the thing is clear. The term Veda has been derived from the Sanskrit word Vid, which means knowledge. Clear now? No doubt? Okay. The Vedic literature is divided into two parts. The Vedic literature is divided into two parts. First one is Shruti and second one is Smriti. Shruti and Smriti. So let us talk about Shruti and Smriti. Not only the Vedas, but many more creations we are having. What took place, what was created in our past. So first is Shruti, second one Smriti. Let us discuss about it. The Vedic literature. The Vedic literature, Shruti. What is the meaning of Shruti? Shruti, and what does mean of Smriti? Shruti, see, on your screen you are able to see Shruti. It is, just see the definition. Shruti, it was revealed to the sages by the God, and they passed on that knowledge orally from generation to generation. Just understand it. It is believed that Shruti was revealed to the sages. Sages means sannyasis, sadhus, okay, by God. Okay, from God they got knowledge. Okay, it came down from God, and the knowledge of this Shruti was passed orally, not written, orally from generation to generation. You might be knowing in our past there was no school. So what happened? How people they got education? They went to Gurukul. Okay, Gurukul was there, means in a jungle or in far off places, means far off from town and villages. Okay, in a very silent area, there was one Gurukul. People sent their wards children to get education in a Gurukul. The students, they got education, and education was not written. In our past, education was not in a written form. Nowadays, today, whatever is given, that is given in writing. You people just learn it by heart and you write in exam. So in the past, it was not there. This system was not there. So what happened in the past? Guru sat under the tree and was giving knowledge, was giving teaching to the students orally. Clear, no? And this knowledge passed from one generation to another generation, okay, orally. Clear? So this is the meaning of Shruti. I think it is clear. Okay, next one. Smriti. Smriti, it was composed by the rishis like sages only. So what is difference between Shruti and Smriti? First of all, just see Smriti, it was composed by rishis. Means rishis, they had written it. It is in a written form. Just understand. Smriti is in a written form. Shruti is not in written form. Clear, no? Written form can be read by next generation. Okay. But Shruti will pass only by the only by orally. Means it gives information only orally. From generation to generation. This is transferred. This knowledge is transferred from one generation to another generation orally. Clear, no? Whereas Smriti is in written form. Clear? So this is difference between. Okay. So as we are going through the second chapter, so in our syllabus, the first one is only given sources, Vedas. So this is also coming in Vedas. Clear, no? Let us discuss more about the Vedas. This is very clear, and this I think everybody is knowing Vedas. The Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajurveda Veda, and Atharva Veda. This everybody is knowing, no? Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajurveda Veda, and Atharva Veda. The first Rig Veda was composed in early Vedic period. The first Veda is Rig Veda. Okay, it was composed in early Vedic period. Another is Sama Veda, composed in later Vedic period. Next one, Yajurveda Veda, composed in later Vedic period only. Third one, and last one, Atharva Veda, that was also composed in later Vedic. Clear? So, 4 Vedas are there. They are having their own importance, and they are having their own knowledge. Means what we are getting, we will get different knowledge from different Vedas, various knowledge from these Vedas. Clear, no? First of all, let us discuss about Rig Vedas, the Brahmanas. Okay, Rig Vedas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads that we had seen, no? So, firstly, I would like to tell you about Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. Then we will go for the Vedas. Clear, no? See, the Brahmanas. What are they? Just understand. Brahmanas means they are not people. We are going through source, and that is source, written source, that is part of Vedas. Clear, no? So, Vedas, 4 Vedas. Brahmanas is one sacred book, okay, of Hindu religion. Just understand what is there. After the composition of Vedas, okay, in a simple way, this was written, and this is written in prose, you know, poetry and prose. So this was written in prose. Still, this is existed. Okay, we can find it. They explain, Brahmanas, what they explain, just understand. They explain the social and religious importance of rituals as well as the value of sacrifices. Just understand it. In Brahmanas, we can get information as sources. They give information only. So this is a Brahmana. This is one literary source which gives information about social and religious life as well as ritual. and sacrifices, value of sacrifices. Just understand it. Brahmanas in our past, very rigid religious system was. Okay, people, they were afraid of the religion. They were having, means a fear that if God will be unhappy if I don't offer something, if I don't practice sacrifices, God will be unhappy and God will punish us. Clear, no? So this information we are getting through these Brahmanas. Okay, social life. Brahmanas, they explain about social life. What social life means? People that time people, they were following different rituals, different customs in society. Clear, no? So this information, this knowledge we are getting through this Brahmanas, as well as religious importance. Means there was one kind of system of this religion. Means people, they were very afraid of this religion. Okay, they were very afraid of religion, and that is why not only forcefully, some of they were very means they were following this willingly, and some they were following this forcefully. Why? They were very afraid of the God. Clear, no? So this religious importance also we are getting through this Brahmanas. Rituals also, many rituals, like you are knowing, no, untouchability. Untouchability means our caste system. There were many castes like Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. So like Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, people, they were means following this system that Brahmanas, they were believed to be the highest rank holder in our society, and their work was different. Means only to give the legal suggestion, religious suggestion to the king, and to teach. Means they acted as teacher in our past. Kshatriyas, their work was to protect the king. Vaishyas, they were traders, merchants, shopkeepers, and last one, Shudras, they were doing services. After these three rank holders, three upper castes. Clear, no? So this information also we are getting through Brahmanas. Okay, in Brahmanas, you will be seeing in Brahmanas that people, they were following a very rigid caste system, as well as sacrifices were given a very much importance. Sacrifices means sacrifices what? Means just offering something, okay, to the God, okay, celebrate something and offer something very costly. So this type of rigid system was also, some bad habits were also there in our community, in our society. Clear, no? Each Vedas has several Brahmanas. Each Veda means this statement, what does it say? It says that each Veda, all four Vedas, they are having several Brahmanas in that composition. Means in one Veda we can get various parts of Brahmanas literature. Clear, no? So Brahmana is clear. Brahmana, it was written by Brahmanas, and it is giving us information about the social, religious and sacrifices, religion, okay, performance, whatever, okay, prevalent at that time in the society. Next one is Aranyakas. Okay, Aranyakas. So let us know about this also. The Aranyakas, they are known as forest. As I explained, Aranyak means forest. Okay, so they are known as forest book, written for the guidelines of the hermits and the students living in forest. Just understand it. I have explained just now, Gurukul system was there. In our past there was Gurukul system. So what is this? They are known as forest books. Aranyakas. Aranyak means forest only. Written for what? Guidelines, rules, regulation of the hermit. Hermit means sage, sannyasi, sadhu, okay, yogi. So these guidelines, they are about the relationship, the rules, regulation of the hermits, means the guru, and students. Students, those who are studying in the guru. Clear, no? So Aranyakas tell us what? Tell us guidelines. They are guidelines about the hermit and the students living in the forest. Why they were living in the forest? They were living in the forest to get education. Students, they were living in the forest to get education, and hermits, hermits means guru, the teacher, so was residing to give education. Clear, no? Okay. Next, they form the concluding part of the Brahmanas. Just understand, they form the concluding part of Brahmanas. Who form? The Aranyakas. The resource Aranyaka forms what? Concluding part of the Brahmanas, means whatever remaining things are, whatever relevant things are, okay, they are concluded. Means these are giving one evidence, these are proving, yes, whatever we have studied, whatever we get in Brahmanas, they are true. Clear, no? So they can be called complementary of Brahmanas. Understood, no? Okay. Their main themes are mysticism and philosophy. Mysticism and philosophy. Mist and philosophy. Clear? Philosophy and mist. What is the? Just understand. Means not only the whatever things physical aspect we are getting, we are seeing. Just it is not only, means our world is not limited into this only, okay, up to this only physical form, but there is a supernatural power, there is natural power, supernatural power, so we should know about that also. Clear? So philosophy says, means whatever knowledge, whatever good deeds, whatever things are, what nature about our knowledge, about our physical things, whatever means things are existed in the means nature, that we have to understand and follow the rules of nature. Clear? Next one, let's understand. Aranyak Chayana. Just we have finished this. Any doubt? If you have, then ask. Upanishad. Next, we will see in class whenever we will meet. That time we will discuss more. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Although this will not be revised, just point to be noted. This chapter, whatever is taught, will not to be revised in the class. Just understand it. Okay. So make it note everything, whatever important things are being taught by all the teachers. Just understand and write. Okay. Many of you have got books also, so you can see book, and according to the syllabus it is taught, and you can understand it. Clear? Okay. Next, Upanishad. The Upanishad. They are philosophical commentaries. Just understand, philosophy is there. This is based on philosophy. Just now I told you, about our deeds, about the world, nature, knowledge, relationship. Okay, this is philosophy. So definitely it would be telling you. It would be dealing about that. So let's understand. The doctrines such as karma. Karma means our work, our deeds, what we are doing. Okay, what we are doing, that is our karma. Moksha and Maya are explained in detail. Just understand. This thing is very important to know. Karma means work. Okay, karma means work, what we do, our actions. Okay, what our deeds. Moksha. For better understanding, let's see. I explain you. Just understand. Karma means our actions. It is believed in a philosophy that whatever we do, okay, we have to suffer, we have to get the reward of our deeds. Not getting? Let us understand. So let us understand that. Okay, Upanishads. What just now I told you, they are philosophical commentaries. Means they are part of philosophy. Okay, they deal about karma, about moksha, okay, about Maya. Just understand it. Karma. There is cycle of birth and rebirth. What body today we have got in human form, in our religion, it is believed that after 7 life, some of the literature they tell it that after 7 birth, next means in animal form, bird form, or tree, whatever, the next one after 7 life, the next life will be of human life. Yeah, some of our Hindu literature they deal about as this is a Vedic culture only. That is why I am telling you. Some of the Hindu culture, Hindu literature they deal that after 84 lakh, after 84 lakh lives, okay, life of what? Life of all the animals, that dog, cat, okay, jackal, whatever animals are, means like that in every life we have to survive, we have to get birth, okay, then this life we will get after 84 lakh lives, we will get this human life. So the what is relevant to this Upanishad, that I want to tell you. Why? Because we survive, we get birth from one form to another form, like this it goes on. This is cycle of birth, rebirth and death, birth, death, rebirth, birth, death, rebirth. So this is not the life, this is Maya. As the word Maya means what? Means whatever life we are living, okay, we are just bounded with that. We just think that this is mine, and whole life the person they are fighting and they are dying. At last, what they carry to God, means when they die, nothing. So this is what? This is one kind of Maya. Okay, one kind of punishment is given by God through our birth and death. Means if we do right deeds like karma, okay, right karma, then God will be happy. Okay, He will free us from this bondage of Maya, from this birth and death cycle. Clear? So this is what this is dealt in Upanishad. Means when we will do right deeds, means karma, okay, the God will be happy, will free us from that cycle of birth and death, okay, and when the God will make us free, that is called moksha. Clear? This is called moksha. Moksha means freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Clear now? Is there any doubt? I think this thing is clear now. So our deeds, they result our life, okay. Moksha is what? Moksha is freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Okay, so let us understand more about this. Upanishad, they deal the philosophical, okay, part of Vedas. Clear, no? Okay, these are also composed by different sages. Like Vedas, like Aranyakas are composed by sages, no? So these are also composed by different sages. Okay, many sages, they wrote this Upanishad. Up means part, means sub-part. Okay, they are believed to be the sub-part of Vedas. Any doubt? Sub-part of Vedas. Okay, they are said to form a foundation on which later editions of Vedic literatures are remaining. Means they are base. Philosophy of that period is base of the literature, okay, in coming times. Means what? Just understand. Whatever literature they came to existence, they were written after that period. Okay, they got one lesson. Okay, they were inspired by Upanishads. Karma, moksha, Maya, it is described in a very detail in Upanishad. So, in means coming generation, whatever literary sources came to existence, okay, they were inspired by Upanishad. Clear, no? Okay, so Upanishad, they played a vital role in the coming literatures, that also can be called. Many Upanishads are, some names are there. Upanishad like Chandogya Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, okay, Aitreya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad. They are the name. This. So, what we have seen just now, let us recall. We will go in next topic. Okay, after that, how many Vedas are? 4 Vedas. That we will see now. Vedic period is divided into 2 periods. Later Vedic, and first one is early Vedic period. Early Vedic period 1500 BC to 1000 BC. And later Vedic 1000 BC to 500 BC. Clear, no? This is period into which it is divided. Then what we discussed about Shruti and Smriti. Shruti and Smriti. Shruti, let us discuss about, and I'll recall it. Just Shruti. It was derived, means this knowledge of Shruti was derived from God to sages, means hermit, sannyasis, sadhus. It passed from generation to generation orally. Clear, no? Means it is not in the form of writing. Smriti. Smriti is what? Smriti, this is written by hermits, by sages. Clear, no? So this is different between Smriti and Shruti. Shruti is not written, Smriti is written. Clear, no? Further we studied about Brahmanas. Brahmanas is literature. It deals about the social life, about the religious life of the people. In this book, means these literatures, Brahmanas, they deal with religion, deal with social. So if I say, means they deal about the social life and religious life. So it means what? It means they are giving us numerous information of social life. They are giving various information of religious life. How people, they were worshipping to God, what sacrifices they were following, what rituals were there, what means customs were there. As now I have told you about castes. Some castes were there: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras. Okay, this information also we are getting through this. Aranyakas means, Aranyak means forest only. Means we are getting information about forest life. Forest life, why it is important, forest life? Because in the forest there was Gurukul, and in Gurukul the students were studying. Okay, Gurukul was in a jungle, in forest. Okay, far up place, from very far from town area, means town and village where community was living. Okay, it was in silent area, open sky. So Aranyakas, they deal about Gurukul life, the system of education, the guidelines of gurus and students. Okay? And lastly, we discussed Upanishads. Upanishads, they deal about the philosophical life, philosophical things, values. Philosophical values means that our karma, okay, deeds, our karma, actions, whatever we are doing, means suppose we are going through a very good life, okay, but in that we are following various paths which are not good, which are not, means suitable for the community, which are not legal, okay, which are offenses. So definitely we have to suffer. Okay, God will punish you. That is called karma. Clear? And if on the other hand we are following away, means whatever good things are, okay, whatever rules and regulations are, okay, we are kind-hearted, we are not doing any atrocity, okay, in our country, in our society, we are helping the poor, needy, that is good karma, right deeds. Okay, they will be rewarded by God. What will be the reward? Reward will be moksha. Means we will be free from this cycle of birth and death, okay. So one life, another life, one life, another life, this will be free. Clear? This Upanishad says. As well as Upanishad, they are inspirational source of coming literature. They are inspirational source of coming literature. Okay, now see slides. Okay, we will discuss, we will go through. So, my dear students, our next topic is Vedas. Okay, how many Vedas are? Just see on your screen 4 Vedas that we have already discussed. First Veda, let us discuss about it. It is the oldest Veda that I have explained already. It is oldest religious text in the world. In the world. Just understand. Before it, nothing was in a text related to religion. In text form, nothing was existed in the matter of religion which was Jinn. Okay, therefore, it is known as the first testament of mankind. First testament of mankind. Okay, let's see about it. Let's discuss. It is divided into 10 mandalas. Mandals. Okay, mandals means parts, you can say. It is said to have been composed during the early Vedic period. Just we have explained it. Okay, we have understood it. I have explained already. They were passed on orally from teachers to their disciples. Okay, means whatever hymns are there, whatever teachings are there, knowledge this or there, they are passed from teacher to disciples to peoples from orally in oral form. Okay. The Rigvedic hymns are the authentic source of knowledge of the life of people of that time. Okay, they are authentic source which we can firmly believe. Okay, that they are dealing, whatever they are dealing, that they are true. Okay, much of the Indian philosophy is based on Rigveda. Whatever philosophy, literature, literary sources came after that, they are witness of the Vedas, Rig Veda. Means why do we see like this? Because they are dealing the things, whatever Vedas are having, they are dealing with that. Whatever rules, whatever hymns, whatever culture, society, whatever things were there in the past, composed in the Rig Veda. After that, whatever philosophical, whatever literary sources came into existence, they dealt about. Okay, they dealt about. Although religious in nature, the Vedas are valuable source of information in various subjects. Not only the religious in nature, it is, but it also tells about our society, about various subjects. Okay, do you know Gayatri Mantra? Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhurvuvah Swah Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhyo Prachodayat. Those who belong to Hindu community, they might be knowing. So this is derived from that. Means this Veda is having this mantra, Gayatri. Okay. So one Veda is clear. Next one, the Sama Veda. What is Sama Veda? Just understand. The term Sama, as you are seeing here, the term Sama, it means what? It means sweet song. It means sweet song or melody. The melody in this Veda, some of the hymns are borrowed from the Rig Veda. As I told you, in the Rig Veda, after the composition of Rig Veda, whatever religious text, whatever literary sources came to in existence, okay, they are having something from Rig Veda. They have borrowed something from Rig Veda. Okay, so what are borrowed in this Sama Veda from Rig Veda? Hymns. Okay, some hymns are borrowed from the Rig Veda. The hymns in Sama Veda were meant to be sung at the time of the sacrifices by the priest. Let's understand. Whatever hymns are borrowed from Rig Veda and they are in Sama Veda, they were sung at the time of the sacrifices by the priest. means Pandit nowadays they recite mantras during sacrifices. So this is that only. In that period, that time, the sages, the priests, they sang these mantras, hymns at the time of sacrifices. Clear about the Rig Veda, about Samaveda also. Next, the Yajur Veda. What is it? Just understand. All Vedas, they are having their own importance. Rig Veda is the oldest Veda. Okay. Samaveda, sweet song, melody means song, mantras. Okay, which were used to be sung at the time of sacrifices. Clear? Next one. The Yajur Veda. It deals with hymns recited during the performance of yagnas. Yagya. You know yajnas, yagya. In our past, it was taking place. Ashwamedha yagna, many more yagna you people have studied in class 6 also. So, this Yajur Veda, it deals with hymns recited during the performance of yagnas. Clear, no? Mantras, they are telling that means this Yajur Veda, it deals that these hymns, they were sung at the time of yagnas. When people they perform the yagnas, or then sages they perform yagnas. Next, the hymns in this Veda throw light on social and religious life of Aryans. So you know, Aryans they started Vedic culture. Okay, when they settled in India, they started their culture, Vedic culture. So the hymns in this Veda throw light on the social and religious life of the Aryans. Social as well as religious. Clear, no? Means people, how they were living in the society and how there was their religious life, it deals. Clear? Brahmanas, that book also deals about what? About the social and religious life. This is also dealing with. Clear, no? And last Veda is Atharva Veda. The Atharva Veda, the hymns content in this Veda deal with magic and charm, jadoo, tona, like. Okay, most of the hymns are taken from Rig Veda. Just see again it came. Means Rig Veda is a source of the literature in a coming generation. Clear, no? So Atharva Veda was the last Veda composed in a later Vedic period. Okay, this deals about means magic and charm. This tells that at that time magic and charm was also prevalent in our society. Okay, and whatever hymns are borrowed from Rig Veda, okay, they are dealing with that. Okay, they are also dealing with Gyan, which is called knowledge. They are also dealing with karma. Karma means action. Okay, action or deeds. Just we have discussed about in Upanishad about it. Okay, Upasana means fast. Okay, fast. Some hymns also deal with medicines and treatment of various diseases. See, nothing will be left. Everything you will be getting in a literary sources are past. No aspect of life, whatever related things are to survive, to live in a community, we will be getting in the literary sources. So, in this medicine and treatment of various diseases was also mentioned. In which Veda? Atharva Veda. Okay, so like this we have seen all the Vedas. Let us discuss from Rig Veda. Rig Veda is oldest. Okay, is the oldest religious text. The first Veda, okay, in the world related to religion. It was the first creation. Okay, Samaveda, and in Rig Veda hymns are Samaveda, which means sweet song, melody sung at the time of sacrifices. Yajur Veda, it was recited, the hymns were recited at the time of many yagnas. Okay, social and religious life, information of social and religious life also we are getting through this. Atharva Veda, this is the Veda of magic and charm. Clear, no? This also deals about Gyan, Karma, Upasana. So these things we have covered today. Okay. So before finishing this session, I would like to tell you, remind you, you will be getting homework in school website. Regularly check, not in this subject only, but in all the subjects you will be getting notes and homeworks. Okay, so what note you will be getting, what important, what in homework, okay, information you will be getting, that will be the find out answers of the previous chapters and write down in your fair copy. So I have seen all the questions are relevant to syllabus in the first chapter. Okay, that is why you have to write each and every question. Okay, try to write in your fair copy. Most probably you will be getting, or you have already got books and notebooks. So write down, okay, whatever homeworks are given. In this chapter, some topics are not relevant to the syllabus, so I will be giving you some questions, okay, and whatever questions you will be unable to get answers, that we will discuss in class also. And as I am taking precaution, means I am following this syllabus, and I just got all the answers are very easily can be found in your textbook. So just go through that and write it. Thank you very much for joining this session. Okay, hope you are fit and fine. See you in next session.